Alright, the first unit I want to look at today is the LR PHY Omega Shenron. And they already were very quick to fix this glitch, so if you were not able to take advantage of it, well, sorry for ya. It wasn't like a super crazy glitch, but it was one that's notable enough to be in this video. And the whole reason why I'm making it in the first place, because it allowed Omega to be just a bit better. Actually, I think Omega probably should have had this in his kit still, especially for the team he runs. They're pretty weak, so I think his ability would have been really good. But anyways, let me explain what it is. Essentially, on his 18 key, right, he has the ability for attack break on his 18 key, which is really good. On an AoE, you attack break everyone at least once, so that's pretty good. However, that's not how it was programmed into the game. How it worked was, if you hit anybody with the 18 key, with the attack break, it would attack break how many times you used your attack. So if there were 4 enemies in the turn, he would attack break each one of them 4 times. So it's not very broken if you're not facing multiple enemies. It works normally if you weren't fighting multiple enemies. But against like Rose and Zamasu or Blue Goku and Blue Vegeta or whatever, those two would get attack break 2 per, since you would use the AoE twice. So it's really good. Again, I mean, if you fought a lot more enemies, they'd be very broken. They basically would never be able to attack. So again, I think it's a really interesting bug. They were pretty quick to fix it. But again, I don't know if that was something necessary to fix. I feel like if he had that in his kit, it would actually just make him just simply better. Because right now, he's probably the worst. He just is the worst Global Dokkan Campaign LR we got this celebration. And it's not bad, it's just he is lacking some of the things that like Gogeta, the Blues, and Rose have. So I think something like this would help him out a ton. Alright, let's talk about another unit that if you played when you're around the end of the 7th year of this game, you'd be very familiar with this unit, and that is Immortal Hercule. Now, people used Immortal Hercule way back in the day, but he was notorious during when they released the first stage of the Cell Max event during the Superhero Celebration. That's with the Froghan and Orange Piccolo. But this Cell Max event was one of the hardest fights in the game by far. It was a very tough event. The first 2 stages were a breeze, and then you got to that final phase, and it was just, it was tough. It was very tough. But this in Hercule made it so much easier. One, because he's an int unit, and he had dodge, and he had high levels of damage reduction, so he was a very stable unit. Especially even though he didn't do much damage, he was keeping you alive. But there is a reason why he was way tankier and so good in that event, and that's because he just didn't work properly. So you see, in his kit, he gets more damage reduction as his HP goes down. So he starts at 50% and he goes up to 90%. This is the before EZA Hercule, by the way. So before EZA, you go from 50 to 90. The more HP you lose, the higher his damage reduction. However, that's not how this unit worked. Essentially, how it worked was he started at 50, and then if he took damage and he got to the next threshold, which would be 80%, if you got him down to 80%, instead of going to 60%, that's basically how it works, every 20% interval, you would get more damage reduction. So instead of going up to 60%, you would jump up to 110%, because instead of changing the damage reduction, it would instead add the damage reduction. So Hercule had 110% damage reduction. There's nothing that would ever hurt him in this entire game. If he got down to the 80% interval, he was unkillable, which is quite insane for a side banner unit. So it was pretty funny for how strong Hercule was. He was just dominating the Cell Max fight with ease. And I mean, he still was usable even out after the glitch was fixed. But he was literally unkillable in the event beforehand, which is really crazy for an event that was causing people a lot of problems. Alright, the next glitch we're going to look at, or I guess unit we're going to look at, is LR AGL, Kale and Caulifla. Now, this one isn't as big, I guess you could say, as the other two. But these two had a glitch known as a key overflow glitch. Basically, what would happen is if you're at 24 key in the turn, right, and then they build a key for every attack performed, they would technically go up above the 24 key threshold. So, when they're going above the 24 key threshold, they were doing a thing called key overflow. You wouldn't show in the game, you just would know because their attack is going up, even though they don't have anything in their kit that raises attack on super. Now, I mean, they do have, they have 0 things in their kit where they gain attack on super. So when they were building their damage up on the super, you're like, how are they doing that? Well, that's because of the key overflow glitch due to the key they got for every attack they did. Again, it wasn't anything super crazy, but it definitely allowed them to be even more dominant than they were on release. It's just another reason why they were so broken. The damage they were doing, the dodging, they were really crazy units on release. So again, yeah, I mean, the key overflow glitch even helped them out more, but I mean, even without it, they were still very, very strong. The next glitch we're going to look at is one of my personal favorites, and that is the LR HGL Super Gogeta and the LR Go Frieza glitch, and it's the infinite attack glitch. You couldn't use it with Vegito, and the reason for that is because with Gogeta and Go Frieza, you would have to use an active attack. Vegito doesn't have an active attack. So Gogeta would use the Veku active, and then Go Frieza would use the Go Frieza active. And once you do that, you just start spamming the tag switch button, just crazy, just keep hitting it. And how many times you hit that tag switch button is the amount of attacks you're going to do. So if you do 5 times, you're going to do it 5 times. If you do it 20 times, you're going to do 20 supers. Essentially, that's how it worked. It was very insane. It was there for a good minute too, probably 4 or 5 days before they patched it up. It was really fun to use. I loved using Goku as like a Beyblade, just like because it's 12 key, but just constantly doing it over and over and over and over again. It was pretty funny to see. And it definitely helped their performance. I mean, they're still good now to this day, but they were another level of good when you were just infinite attacking over and over and over again. Like, dude, just imagine like the stacks you would get up in like festival battles or something like that when you pull that off. Just the amount of defense these units or attack these units would have just from attacking like 100 times in a turn. Alright, the final glitch I want to look at today is the LR Namek Goku glitch. I will say this, I'm just going to throw this out here. I don't remember this also applied to Frieza. It might have, but I just remember Namek Goku doing it. Essentially, what happened on release was that if you hit Namek Goku, he would counter you. But it's not your normal counter, right? Like, you know how Super Vegito hits you with like a sword or whatever. Like, it's a different animation. No, Goku doesn't apply by those rules. He says, I'm actually going to hit you with my super attack on the counter. And again, remember, if you play the game right now, Namek Goku doesn't even have counters. So I forget the language or what the exact, what happened for it to occur like that. That basically, every single time he got attacked normally, he would just counter with a super attack, which is insane. If you got hit 5 times, after or before super, he would just constantly super. It was insane. Oh, okay, here it is. So the language of the card is after receiving an attack, you would launch an additional super attack. So how it was coded though is after receiving an attack, launch a super attack, basically. So every time he got hit, he was just launching a super attack, which is pretty insane. I kind of wish that they make a card like that. You know how broken that card would be, like a new Vegito Blue or something like that? Like, you don't even have to make a counter animation. You just get, when you hit them, they just do a super attack on the counter. That's kind of insane. Oh my gosh, yeah, so that's a pretty strong mechanic there. I mean, I don't remember how long it lasted, but it was there definitely for a good bit. Frieza does have that same language, so I would not be surprised if at all Frieza did the same thing as well in his kit, just countering with the super attack as well. But what do you guys think? Do you guys remember any of these glitches, or are you guys fascinated by these glitches by any means? Because again, like I said, these units, some of them are now, some of them are current day, some of them are definitely past day. So I know we have an influx of players who've played for 3 years, or 10 years, or 1 year, or 6 months, or whatever, right? So let me know in the comments below what you guys think. If you guys enjoy the voice content, the first playlist to it is going to be all of my voice content. The second playlist is going to be to all of my Dokkan Battle videos. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.